news edition of the Garden Report. Adrian, Wojnarowski, Charania, both reporting the Wizards and Bradley Beal could pursue a trade, taking Beal to a new destination, along with his Supermax contract. The no trade clause puts him in full control of that if the Wizards decide to pursue a rebuild, which may be couched here, especially with new GM president Michael Winger taking over and teasing a rebuild in his opening press conference, saying he has full autonomy from Ted Leonsis if the Wizards want to pursue a rebuild here, especially after recent seasons where all-out pursuits of the playoffs, play-in tournaments led to missed postseasons. So Beal hitting the market here after a couple difficult seasons, 40 games, ends with a wrist surgery 2 years ago, didn't shoot well at all that year, comes back, shoots 50% from the field, 36 from 3, strong numbers, increased playmaking in recent years. Bradley Beal is still a good player, maybe not that all-NBA caliber player at this point, but certainly a complimentary star on a team with other stars who could help immensely with off-ball movement, scoring, and shooting the big one.
CLNS Media's Celtics coverage is brought to you by FanDuel. New customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win.
Now, the Celtics probably not in play here. Wouldn't rule them out completely, but Brian Windhorst indicating at this time no interest in Beal. More focus on re-signing Jaylen Brown to an extension, which is important here. And as the Celtics try to navigate finding the right price for Jaylen, and maybe it is just a full Supermax offer, despite the implications from a team-building standpoint into the future, that would still put them in play to land Beal here if Beal wants to come to Boston. And we talked about that a couple years ago when we debated these Beal deals, that if he says, forget all these other destinations, I want to be in Boston with Tatum, that's where something like Smart and Brogdon and Pritchard and whatever other salary becomes necessary there, along with many future first-round picks, I think end up being the value sent back Washington's way. You could keep your big three together. How much is left over? Is it just Derek White and Robert Williams and Al Horford? Is that enough? That's the real debate there without trading Brown. I don't think anyone would trade Brown for Beal except maybe Jeff Goodman still. The difference in age, prime years left. Beal's a better player today probably, or fit next to Tatum. But in terms of long-term sustainability, health, other things, it doesn't make a ton of sense beyond the same concerns into the future continuing to exist if you have two Supermax players. In this case, Bradley Beal is going to make $50 million 2025, $53 the year after that, and then a $57 million player option at age 33. I guess it's less money over the next 3-4 years here, but still ultimately Supermax money next to Tatum's once his kicks in, I believe around 2025. I don't see it from a Celtics perspective. I just don't, especially if you build a big three here with this CBA conversation and you're giving up what I think is the Celtics' strength against this new CBA, that you have Smart signed for $18 million, that you have Derek White through 2025 and Malcolm Brogdon over that same length of time and Robert Williams through 26. Smart's actually here through 26, my mistake. You don't need to replace those guys with mid-levels and trades and things like that because you already have them under contract. And then when you get to that point, yeah, you're dealing with the long-term repercussions of your picks, potentially going to the end of the first round based on how that rule shakes out. But you have the talent on your roster already. It's going to get difficult in a couple of years here, no matter what route the Celtics take. So I still think your best bet is to give yourself the immediate shots at a championship. And right now, I feel like Tatum and Brown, more than Tatum and Beal, gives you that ability. But what else is available out there if you can't come to a deal with Brown? Does Tatum want this? How much does he want this if it comes to that point? And then how much does Beal want this? That's the most important question of all. If it's not on the table for Boston, and as I said, Brian Windhorst reporting it's probably not, still pertinent because the Bucks in play here, according to Shams. The Heat in play here, according to Shams. So those teams would upgrade immensely, especially if they're named as preferred destinations and don't have to give up a ton here. If it's a Grayson Allen package, along with young players and whatever else the Bucks have to throw in there, they don't have many picks. Is Middleton still involved if he goes there? Many questions from a Bucks perspective, but whatever they end up forfeiting there, Beal's an upgrade, even if it is Middleton, in my opinion, based on how he's looked the last couple of years here. The Heat, Hero, Robinson, we've heard about that package a million times. That might actually work this time. The Wizards can get Hero on a long-term deal. Robinson, whether you keep him or you flip him, he gets playing time in Washington to build his value. Picks into the future, many picks. I think you might be able to clear the deck on Miami's picks, especially if they're able to get the rights to some of those picks that are owed to Oklahoma City back. I like the Heat, especially if some of these guys who played above their heads, Max Strus, Robinson, and now you complement Butler and Bam with, instead of them, Beal in that system, in that defense, as a playmaker, as an off-ball guy. That's scary for a Heat team that already gives the Celtics massive issues. I think that's what you're thinking about most here is, are the Heat about to land a Bradley Beal? Two teams, two top competitors with the Celtics already in play on Bradley Beal if he gets dealt this summer, and I think that is the headline here. We'll discuss it more on the Garden Report. Dome Theory, I kicked around what could be an active trade week heading into the draft. Zion Williamson's name, you're hearing it more and more. That number 3 pick up for sale from Portland. Do the Charlottes end up trying to sell number 2? It'll take the world to do it, but feels like stars could move soon as this week. So we'll have it all covered here. Garden Report coming soon. Dome Theory, new one tonight. And more on this Bradley Beal trade saga as it begins. Brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel.com/Boston is going to get you up to $1,000 in a no-sweat first bet when you sign up for the first time here in Massachusetts. They've been rolling for a couple months. Fun time betting this NBA season. And they, as an NBA partner and the official wagering partner, CLNS Media, great place to go and check out all the futures now for NBA, NHL, wrapping up with Vegas as champions, along with baseball still going, and golf into the summer. Lots of options here still, even with the sports season in America slowing down a little bit here. Soccer, of course, always. All those odds are over at FanDuel.com/Boston. Go over there and get a no-sweat first bet when you sign up. That's FanDuel.com/Boston. Head over there and make every moment more. As well as Athletic Greens, athleticgreens.com/Garden. You know them, the vitamins, minerals, adaptogens, probiotics, and more. 75 of them all in a powder. They're also going to throw in a year's supply of vitamin D. 5 free travel packs when you head over there. That's athleticgreens.com/Garden. Check out their cool gear too when you sign up for a subscription. The bottles, the containers, and everything else, all with that nice green theme. Tropical flavor in your water each morning. That's athleticgreens.com/Garden. I'm Bobby Manning for the Garden Report. This has been a news edition. Bradley Beal likely on the move this summer. We'll have more here. Stay tuned.